My name is Edmund Lowry, Jr., and you'll remember that, my friend.
I'm sure I shall. You are a frightening fella.
Oh, I'll behave, sir. I'll behave as expected.
The world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is not short of lunatics, those who see the world somewhat differently than you or I, but none seem more sadistic than that of Edmund Lowry Jr. Edmund, a serial killer, enjoys displaying his works as if it's some form of sadistic twisted artwork for all of the world to see. He's proud of his creativity, and today we're going to be looking at the known murders committed by the man, the ones he's potentially suspected of, and the character of Edmund himself. Welcome to the video. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming. If you enjoy the following, you all know what to do, and if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, after watching, please consider doing so. Without any further delay, let's continue with today's content. Edmund Lowry Jr., a deranged individual. There are 3 gruesome scenes in total and can be found in any order. Most will traditionally uncover the one just outside of the town of Valentine first, as it's the nearest to the starting location following the unlock of free roam. Just below the train tracks south of the town, the player can discover a trail of blood leading to the underpassage of the railway line. Upon following this, a gruesome sight will be revealed to the player, a headless torso tied to the structure. Surrounding this fallen victim are the entrails of said person and a scribbling on a nearby rock which reads, "Look on my works." This particular phrase is something we'll come back to. To the side of the hanging headless torso, the poor soul's decapitated head can be found. This wasn't a pleasant end. Impaled into the supporting beam by way of a knife right through the eye socket, the victim carries a piece of paper. Upon removal, the player can investigate. It's a torn map with some scribbling on the rear. This won't make a great deal of sense right now, so let's move on over to the second site. A little south of Boulder Glade, not far from the grounds of the Braithwaite Manor, the player can uncover a second victim. Once more, following a pathway provided by blood splatter and entrails, another poor soul has found their final resting place. In very similar fashion to the first, the victim has been decapitated and had their lower torso removed, and once more another scribbling can be found close by, this time reading, "Behold." Their head has been impaled with a knife and a secondary piece of paper attached, just like the first. Upon removal, we're given the second part of the map. Still, we have one final scene to visit to complete this puzzle. A little south of Wallace Station, just east of Shepherd's Rise, the final site is uncovered. Continuing the tradition of the killer using blood and entrails to aid those to find his victims, the player will discover a scene nearing identical to the other two. A headless torso with a further message asking the uncoverer, "Do you see?" and of course the decapitated head nearby. Its contents the final piece of the map. With the final piece of the puzzle, the player is now able to access the map in its entirety. Heading not too far from the first slaughter, a little ways from Valentine, the player will find the sketching's location, the workshop of Edmund Lowry Jr. Upon using the codes provided by the pieced map, the player is able to gain access, instantly wincing due to the overpowering odour coming from within. Upon entering, the player will firstly uncover newspaper clippings posted upon the wall. One, for example, reads as follows: Valentine, February 5th. The state has never before been so thoroughly searched for a missing person as it is now being for Miss Amy Gilbert, wife of a Great Plains lawyer who disappeared Friday. It is said that a woman exactly answering Mrs. Gilbert's description spent Friday night at Strawberry, leaving there Sunday morning for Cumberland Falls. A squad of searchers left the city last night to search for Mrs. Gilbert between Strawberry and Valentine. At the places named, the woman made strange statements and acted in a very nervous manner, indicating that her suffering from nervous prostration unsettled her mind. Another reads, "Found a dead man." While Anthony and Patrick Wynne of Strawberry were fishing in the Cumberland Falls area along the Central Union Railroad on Friday afternoon, they found the body of a man lying near the creek. He wore blue clothes and mittens, making it evident that the body had lain where it was found since winter. It was much decomposed. They saw that the head had been crushed in and one arm removed, and then, leaving the body undisturbed, hastened to Valentine. 2 men with a wagon were sent out for the body, accompanied by a coroner's jury. Nothing was found on the body to indicate who the dead man was. the police are at work on the case. Given the setting we find ourselves in, it's apparent that these are indeed the works of Edmund Lowry Jr. Continuing to explore the basement, the player will uncover the skeletal remains of victims, as well as buckets of blood and guts, plus shackles, indicating that the killer likely tortured his victims before finishing with them. There's also a missing persons poster for one Eliza Bloom posted upon the wall, as well as further newspaper clippings, but the gruesome findings don't end there. Upon the walls of the structure are many severed limbs, as well as Edmund's bed, showing us that he likes to sleep with his artwork surrounding him. Is this for comfort maybe, or is his ego so large that he can't be separated from his works, wanting to admire them from the moment he opens his eyes? On a table we find two letters, one addressed to Edmund, the second authored by the man himself. The first, a handwritten piece, is from his mother. It reads as follows. My dear Edmund, what has gotten into you of late? Our dinners together, which were once such a pleasure to me, have become a terrible strain. You appear at times tired, distracted, febrile and agitated, and sometimes all those things at once. It was a mistake for you to have ever moved out of the home. Once I approved of your decision to forego marriage in order to spend more time with me, I did not envisage it would be this kind of company. Maybe a wife is what you need after all. Your kindly neighbour has informed me of your comings and goings from your rooms at all hours of the night. Does this mean there is a close friendship your mother doesn't know about? I hope your taste in companionship has improved these past years, but I shall keep an open mind. I should like an explanation of all this from you presently. Your loving and concerned mother. P.S. I hope you're eating and sleeping and taking the laudanum Dr. Finkles gave you. That should improve your nerves somewhat. There's a couple of things to take note of in this letter. Firstly, Edmund had a strange and unhealthy attachment to his mother. This is shown when she writes about him foregoing marriage to be with her, but not thinking that it would be that kind of company, followed by her implying he needs a wife. This puts forward that Edmund had an attraction towards his mother. Was this something he felt from an early age? Is that what tipped him over the edge of reality? We also see that his mother is controlling. Even as an adult, Edmund still needs approval from his mother to leave home, explain his relationships, and even has the neighbours keeping close tabs on him. Lastly, we have the mention of laudanum, a concoction of opium and high-proof alcohol that was used to treat those suffering with a nervous disposition. How long Edmund has been medicated for is unclear. The second letter, the one written by Edmund himself, titled Letter to the Editor, reads as follows. Dear Mr. Editor, I must say I am alarmed by the paucity of coverage your august journal dedicated to the recent killings in the region. The perpetrator of these crimes is clearly a man of great intelligence, power, and no small amount of cunning. He presents a clear and present danger to all readers of your publication, and most notably to the writers of it as well. I would suggest you begin to treat him and his creations with the reverence that they deserve. God help us all. Yours, a concerned citizen. Edmund clearly doesn't take too kindly to those underestimating him. He has an ego larger than life, even threatening the lives of those who don't agree. This ties in with the scribblings from the first victim scene, reading "Look on my works." We'll come back to this. Continuing on in the basement, the player finds further newspaper scraps, as well as the bloody tools Edmund used to no doubt dismember his victims. It's more of the same in the rear room of the basement, except this time we have the addition of a camera, indicating that Edmund would like to photograph his victims before or after mutilation, or possibly both. We uncover further remains, as well as a collection of severed heads he no doubt keeps as some form of trophy collection, and strangely a set of limbs forming the letter B. The letter B brings us over to Tall Trees, west of Manzanita Post. It's here we find the remains of the Blackwater athletics team, a group of individuals that were reported missing in the Blackwater Ledger newspaper, issue 69, which read as follows. Members of the Blackwater Athletics Club are still missing, and their friends and family are excited by the gravest fears. They were last seen leaving the north edge of town for a group athletics run, and, although the most thorough search has been made for them, they cannot be found. Certain facts around their disappearance have been given cause for suspicion. The affair has created a sensation in Blackwater and the surrounding community. They have departed on a run and had intended to return the same evening. Their friends and family are making a diligent search, and police in neighbouring areas have been notified. Right upon the area of the pile-up of victims is the secondary letter B, once more formed by the dismembered limbs of the deceased. Now, how would Edmund Lowry Jr. take out an entire team without alerting the others? An educated guess will be that he wasn't working alone. It could be put forward that he had some form of relationship with the Skinner brothers, a sadistic faction who roam those areas, but there isn't any evidence to back this, just theories, so in reality, no one actually knows. Did Edmund stumble across the corpses left by the Skinners and adjust the scene to suit his MO, removing arrows and creating the letter B? It's anyone's guess, but this could tie in with him needing to be recognised for his works, popularised in the press for his actions. Even if they weren't solely his own, he still wanted credit for the kills. Inspecting a knife Edmund uses to pick apart his victims, we finally encounter the man.
Have you come for me? Or was this all nasty surprise? Or maybe it's both. Maybe it is a nasty surprise, even though you knew I was going to be here. Which is it? You should think about that. Save yourself thinking about what's about to happen. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's not going to be nice and fun. I mean, it'll be fun for me, but it won't be nice for you. At least, no one's found it nice so far. Maybe you'll be the first. Do you?
Now look what you made me do.
So after hearing enough of his manic ways, taking his unconscious body to the sheriff in Valentine, we bring this lunatic to justice.
I'm not giving you a cell until you introduce this boy. Now put him down there.
How are you today? Fella been nothing nice. A lot of folk gone missing over the past few years, and this sick son of a bitch, he ain't right in the head.
That's so.
Head on over to the cellar of that broke-down shack on the road to the falls. See for yourself.
Okay, come on, you.
My name is Edmund Lowry Jr., and you'll remember that, my friend.
I'm sure I shall. You are a frightening fella.
Oh, I'll behave, sir. I'll behave as expected.
Well, you better. And I'll get you a lawyer, don't you worry about that. And you get in that cell, calm as you be. Get him off me! Oh, thank you.
So with the psychotic individual finally dealt with, let's take a look at the character of the man. Edmund Lowry is a narcissistic psychopath with an Oedipus complex, which explains his relationship with his mother. He believes himself to be far superior than those around him. We see this many times in his letter to the journalist, and as he converses with the player upon capture. He taunts those he feels are below him by leaving clues as to both his whereabouts and character, hence the map, but not only the map, there's also the writings at the scenes. Look on my works. This is taken from a poem entitled Ozymandias by Percy B. Shelley. A portion of the poem reads, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." The poem of Ozymandias is written to show that power is not absolute or eternal, but the term itself has several other meanings. Most commonly, Ozymandias means tyrant, dictator, or megalomaniac, Edmund Lowry Jr.'s perception of himself. Rockstar Games have used the works of Percy B. Shelley previously. We saw this in LA Noire, where we were gifted writings by the author as evidence in a poem, Prometheus Unbound. This case also featured a hunt for a serial killer. Edmund dresses as high-ranking society members would. This is more likely to avoid suspicion, allowing him to entrap his victims much easier. He keeps trophies of his kills as reminders of what he considers to be accomplishments, and surrounds himself with the remains of his victims to feed his own need for admiration. He wishes to awaken every day and witness his impact on the world, feeding the godlike complex he has bestowed upon himself. This is the same reason he would photograph his works and keep reminders such as newspaper clippings and human remains in close proximity. He has cannibalistic traits, which to him may be asserting dominance over his victim, more than the need to feed for supplements. He wishes to see who was not only brave enough to challenge him, but smart enough to track him down, a very similar tale to that of the Black Dahlia murderer. The pair have very similar MOs. Edmund would bask in his works as if he was trying to convince himself of his talents and abilities. This may be a form of insecurity stemming from a confusing or traumatic childhood which is carried on over into his adult life. This could tie in with his nervous disposition and the need for the medication to maintain this. All in all, I don't think anyone would truly understand the mind of Edmund Lowry Jr. Not the law, not Dr. Finkel's, not his mother, not even himself. If you enjoyed what you saw today, you all know what to do, and if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. If you wish to see more lore content on titles such as this, be sure to let me know in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. You've been listening to Phil of Philby Gaming, and I'll see you in the next video.